Right, we are live here. Let me double check if everything is working. Cool, we are streaming. Things are looking good. Let me check for questions here. First of all, let me know where you're tuning in from. It would be great to learn that. Let me see here. Very cool. We are live today from Seattle. All right. Let me see if I can see the questions coming up here. And we'll get started. Let me just minimize this a little bit so the questions can show up here. Looking good. All right, so this is our Adobe XD weekly, and today I'm here in Seattle. So to get things started, let's see our intro. So this is Adobe XD weekly. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Demian Borba. I work on the strategic development team for XD at Adobe. And today I'm here in this amazing weather, like sunny Seattle. And we're here for to help with a hackathon at Microsoft. And because we do the streams no matter what, here I am in this beautiful area. This is our Adobe office here in Seattle. And to get things started, please let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to learn more about your region. I see people from Portland, India, Peru, very cool, Nigeria, Sweden. That's so cool. Sacramento, Israel, Poland, sunshine. Hey Borba, hey Honor. Very cool. So we are all good to go here. I'll be watching for questions here on the chat, so if you have any suggestions, feature requests, please, this is your chance to ask. I normally go live with Lindsay. Today she's in San Francisco, but she's there checking all the questions that you might have. And sorry about the noise. Sometimes you might hear some planes, some boats, some sirens. It's the cool thing about doing things live in different locations. So there you go. That's a plane coming right now. All right. So today my plan is really to, first of all, get your feedback and understand the things that you need for XD, but also to share some of the features in more depth that we released last week. So as you know, every month there's a new update to XD, and last week we had our July update, XD 10. Every month, new updates, and there's a lot to cover. But before I get started, is there any question that you guys have? Let's see here. I'm sorry, I hit this by mistake. You're still there watching. Cool. All right, let me see here. Hawaii, Korea. Sounds great. Czech Republic. Very cool. Portland. All right. I don't think there's any burning question here. There is one here from Jose. Is XD supposed to be taking over Muse? So this is a great question, and I think they're very separate, right? Muse is a tool that's there for people that don't want to code and they want to have a website that's fully working. XD, on the other hand, is really focused on the UX designer that needs to design, prototype, share, validate all the work as a prototype with stakeholders, and then once everything is validated, then you go back to your designs and you share a design spec for a developer to implement. So XD is not going to generate code. It's really there to help the designer to validate the design and the prototype before it gets to a developer. And then the developer goes there, gets the design spec, and uses the measurements, the colors, the character styles to really build, and the assets to build the app or website. Hope that answers your question. Let's see here. Hi from France. Ed Cobra is saying add XD Pathfinder like in Illustrator. That's a great feedback. The way we do that in XD is a little different, so let me show you that in action. So here, if you have, let's say, 2 circles and you want to create a pin icon, you can align them. Then similar to the Pathfinder here, you can subtract. So you can use Boolean operations to subtract. So the difference in between Illustrator and XD is that in XD, all these operations are non-destructive. So you can click here and you can still have access to each element. And then one thing that you can do to get to that pin element is move this down. And if you double click on that anchor point, you can get rid of the handles. And once you click outside, you're outside. Then you can, for example, now play with a different color, like a pink or anything like that. Even add shadow. And again, if you double click, you still have access to the original shapes, vectors that made that pin. Does that answer your question? But that doesn't mean you cannot use Illustrator. So our idea is anytime you need more complex vectors, you go to Illustrator, then you copy and paste into XD, or you export as an SVG and you can open that in XD. So that's, or you can even use Creative Cloud libraries to add that vector from Illustrator to your Creative Cloud library, and then in XD you can go here and you can go File, Open, CC Libraries, and you can see all of your libraries here. For example, I have lots of vectors created in XD, in Illustrator, sorry, available to XD, and then I can just drag here. The good thing is if I drag this guy here, this is now part of the XD document, but it's linked, meaning if I go back to Illustrator, if I right click here on this guy and say edit, this will launch Illustrator, and if I make changes to it, it'll update here in real time. So that's there for you. All right, let's see if we don't have any other questions here. AI plus Photoshop plus XD, yeah, awesome. All right, and Lindsay's there answering a lot of the questions that you guys have. So let me see if there are more questions. Can we import, John is asking, can we import from Adobe Comp in the future? There's no direct bridge from Comp to XD, but you can create things in Comp, then add to Illustrator, and the same thing from Illustrator you can add to a library and consume in XD to keep the link. Or you just copy from Illustrator and you paste into XD. So that's a path for you to get your content from Comp to XD. All right. Faku is asking to have a master library like Sketch would be a great tool. Yes, that's a great feedback, and we are really looking at that scenario, and we'll have more news on that soon. There's another question here for Chaman. When will advanced transition animations and control come in interactions? Very soon. We will be sharing more updates on micro interactions, the ability to animate things within the same artboard. And if you follow Andrew Shorten on Twitter, Lindsay can paste his Twitter handle there. He's the senior director for product management on XD, and he shared a lot of good sneaks. There goes another plane. And there was one sneak that shows that, like the ability to, and if you follow him, you'll be aware of a lot of the things that are coming. He's really good at sneaking amazing features. All right. There is a question from George. Plugins, if I get it right. Yeah, so we are very close to announcing a public way for you to add plugins to XD. and we even announced a $10 million fund for developers that are interested in developing plugins for XD. So that's there, and very soon they'll be public. So using JavaScript, you'll be able to develop plugins and extend all the functionalities that you have in XD. All right, let's see. Yep, Lindsay posted his link there. Full screen. All right. So we are good here. So let's do this now. My plan today is really to show you a couple of the new features that were released in our July update, XD 10. So let me switch to my screen and I'll go one by one. So, and please let me know if you have specific questions or areas that you need to improve or get more information in. So the first thing is, now starting in XD 10, if you have strokes or pads, like for example here I have something like that, and I will make this like that. You can see it's a little line there. Then if you change the size, now you can do a couple of things. First, I don't know if you can see this, you can change the endpoint there, sorry, here, and that helps you a lot there. And you can also add dashes, so here you can add more or less depending on, and also control the gap there. So very nice. And you can get to scenarios where you can do something like this. So let me show you what I mean by that. I can, for example, I can add, I stroke like that, then I can get to, let's say, more. I will do more of that. And as you can see here, I'm playing with the dashes here, and now I can do almost like a chart representation of that scenario. So here I can do now, for example, I can add, I don't know, 82%, and this will be that same pink that I have here. So you can get to very nice results by playing with dashed strokes there. So that's there for you, not only with straight lines and curved lines, but also with the circular lines. Pretty cool. That's strokes, and you can expect more improvements there. And as you remember, things that we had there before is, and I was clicking there in the beginning, now the stroke is inside, but it could be there or here, inside, outside, inside, or right within the middle. And here you can mirror join, round join, and play with the joins there to make sure. I don't know if you can see this, but you can have, there's different scenarios there for the joins. Cool, so that's it for strokes. Any questions there? Wish I could accept triangles, shapes, and around the rectangles. Yeah, so let's keep moving here. So the next thing that we announced in our XD 10, XD July, is now the ability to, I don't know if you remember, but here on your bottom left you have your assets panel. Here is a place where you can see and add your colors, your character styles, and symbols. And this is great because if you make changes to, for example, I want to right click and say edit, I want to change this to a different color, you can see it's replacing that right there, and it will find all instances of where the color is within this document, and it will update for you in real time. But now with XD10 you also have a list view, so you can see things in a grid view and also in a list view. The good thing about having it in a list view is that you can now double click here to name this color. So I can say Adobe blue, or if I follow a inverse domain, I can say Adobe blue, or the name of anything. So you can start playing with your colors and all there. That's also true for text. So I can say this is gonna be my H1, this is gonna be my, just double click on the text name there, and you can also name symbols. So for example, here I have a green button. It's already named green button. I can say green button, and if I go here in the assets panel, I can search for it, and it will search for that name, or H1, or I don't know, that blue that we created, and it helps you align and find things more easily by searching. Of course, you can right click here and say, hey, show me on my canvas where this thing is, and it will highlight it for you. Here, let's see the purple that I created, highlight on canvas, it's right here. You can see it's highlighted there, or even let's see another color that makes it easier to see. So highlight on canvas, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a blue line around that color for us. Very, very cool. Let's see if we have questions. Oh, let's do the features first. There are a couple questions here, and then we saw stroke enhancement. We also saw labeling assets. Again, this is the beginning of a design systems world in XD, where you can expect in the future you'll be able to move this and rearrange them. But for now, you can see the grid view, you can see the list view, and you can also name your colors, character styles, and symbols to start organizing your project. All right, we also announced that on Windows computers now, you can integrate XD with third-party apps like Zeppelin, Avocode, Simply. It's there now on Windows. It took us some time to get there, but you can do that now. There's another plane. That's the price of doing it live outside. But again, this is for you guys, doing our best here. All right, that's there. Another very good feature that we announced is now the ability to, let's say I create a simple prototype, and I'll say whenever I tap on this button, I want to go to this artboard, and on this one I want to go to this one. So 3 links here, and this is my home artboard. I can now share a design spec, and this is where that scenario where I finished my validation, I did all the iterations, now it's ready, and I will share with developers for them to create the app, in this case a mobile app. I can do this publicly, I can add a password, and if you add a password, you can now mask it to see it later on, and then you can, in this case, I'll create a public link just to do this to show you, and you can also share this with specific emails, private invites. Once I have that there, I can now open my Chrome browser. Let me paste this here. And the same way you can add comments to prototype links, you can now add comments to design specs. So again, any developer can come here, can start seeing your project, seeing all the colors, all the character styles, and if you click on something, you can see measurements. And if you click on something to select it and hover other elements, you see how distant it is from the other elements. And you can now add comments just like in regular prototypes. I will add my name here as a guest, so you can log in to keep track of your comments, but I can also log in as a guest, and I can say please give me this button as SVG, so, or PDF, right, as this is as a iOS app. So I can, as a developer, I can request that or have conversations here, so my designer knows that now he needs to send me this asset. One thing that it's not here yet, but it's coming very soon, is the ability for a developer to select elements and download the assets here that are marked for export, and that's coming very soon as well. All right, so that's commenting on design specs. Another thing that we have now available in July, let me see if I can find a scenario where I can show you this. So if you have, let me copy this and paste here just to show you what I mean by that. Let's say I have a couple paragraphs. I have this, I have this, I have this. So I have a couple paragraphs inside an area text. Now I can play with paragraph spacing. So this is good because I can preserve the line height and line spacing for the paragraph itself, but I can move this around. If I do up and down with the arrows, I can get increments of 1, and if I hold shift and then up and down, I get increments of 10. So that's there for you as well. So paragraph spacing. Another thing that we have now is that anytime you have a bitmap in memory, so for example, let's see, I'll go to the browser and I will go to stock.adobe.com. This is a great place for you to download any kind of asset, images, videos for projects. Let's do Seattle because I'm here today. And if I, for some reason, let me wait for that to finish. Let's say I copy this, copy image. Now I have this image in memory. I can go to XD, and if I have a shape here, let's say a rectangle that's like that, and it has a shadow to it, no border, I can now right click and say paste appearance, and that image will come here and it will be the fill of this. I can even double click to adjust where and how big I want things here. So you can see very easily I can get that in memory and then paste as a paste appearance here to get that as a fill. So that's there, paste for good board. And that's pretty much it. We also have, like I said, when you add passwords, you can mask and unmask to see what the password was if you don't remember. And we're going to start having more contests very soon, so stay tuned on Facebook, on Twitter. If you have any feedback, please share on uservoice, adobeXD.uservoice.com, or use hashtag AdobeXD on Twitter to ping us, and probably someone from the team will answer. I'll answer, Andrew will answer. We're very active on Twitter as well. And next week, starting on July 31st, we're going to start our daily creative challenges again. So stay tuned for that. Next Tuesday, we're going to start that for 9 days, and it'll be fun to get a chance to play with XD and have more people supporting you around. So next Monday, when we go live again, I will show a little bit more of that, starting on July 31st at 8:30 Pacific time. All right, so let's see here if we have more questions. When will we have justified text? Again, if you need justified text, please go there to user voice, upvote on that feature, and it will be great to have your feedback there. As you know, we're not just adding existing libraries to XD, we're not adding existing Photoshop libraries or Illustrator libraries. We're really creating everything the best way we can to guarantee performance. That's why you don't see all the features that you see in other apps like InDesign or Illustrator for text, because we're creating a brand new text engine for XD. So every month there's a new update. For example, this time we had paragraph spacing, and you can expect more and more. So just go to user voice, upvote there, and help us shape the product. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Allow overlays to have a layer order, please. Allow overlays to have a layer order. Oh, I see what you're saying. If the overlay is on a separate artboard, you can play with the order there on the separate artboard. I'm a little confused by this question, but please clarify if you want. And then there's a contest that I just heard from Lindsay. She posted the link on we partner with the Territory Studios to reimagine the heads-up display from Terminator 2. That was so cool, using XD. So there's a UI kit there. You can participate. She will give you more details there. Perfect. Let me see if we have any other questions here before I move on. Thanks much. So you saw all the features that we had in our July update. clipboard is masked. Perfect. So let's take a last look here at the questions. Are you thinking of implementing a wire view like in Illustrator? Not yet, but again, if you have that as a feature request, please go to user voice, add it there, and then the product team can recognize it, we can label it, and we can react to it if it becomes super popular. And again, a lot of the features that you guys want are there, and we are also doing like a great work there, really focused on delivering innovation, not just doing everything you guys want, but looking at all that set of challenges that you have to really add the Adobe magic. And you'll see something next month that's super nice regarding responsive resizing, and I cannot wait to show you that. It's really a game changer and it will make your life a lot easier. I think that's it. I'm not seeing any other questions here. Sneak peek, Oliver. Yeah, there is more coming. Again, if you look at Andrew's Twitter handle, you see a lot there. He sneaked a lot of amazing features that are coming. And animation, again, we will make progress on micro interactions and the ability to animate elements within the same artboard. That's coming soon. So if there are no more questions, we will call it a stream. Alright guys, so thank you very much. Again, this is really for you. Every Monday, no matter what, 11 a.m. Pacific time, we go live to answer your questions, talk about roadmap. And next Monday we'll have Glaren, one of the main designers on XD, live with us, telling his experience designing a tool for designers, which is super cool. Alright, so have a great week, and I'll see you around. Bye guys.